Paranormal Dimensions is a regular feature on Mondays on the Paranormal UK radio network.
Hello, this is Adele Casals-Rocha, and you're listening to the Paranormal UK Radio Network, the UK's biggest paranormal network. And this is Paranormal Dimensions with David Young.
Hello and welcome to another Paranormal Dimensions. Right, I've got an interesting guest that I don't know anything about tonight, so we're going to find out a lot together, hopefully. Now then, thank you for that intro there, Adele. That was very nice. Now, my calls for this programme are going to go out to local people to me. Brenda Butler, Leiston, Suffolk. Vanessa Cole of Great Yarmouth, Norfolk, UK. And Adrian Bond, Lowestoft, Suffolk. They'll all be attending the conference I've got planned for Colonel Charles Holt when he comes over in September. Right, now I'm going to introduce you to a guest that I know a little about, I'm going to admit, but I understand he's got a very interesting, or some very interesting stories, and so we'll all learn together, and hopefully I'll be able to put some questions to him that any of the listeners might have. So I'm going to welcome aboard now Mr. Don Mathis. Welcome, Don.
Well, thank you, David. How are you doing?
I'm fine, thank you, my friend, and I understand you've been very ill of late. You've been in out of hospital.
Yeah, I had a stroke a couple weeks ago, and I just come out here a couple days ago. So yes, I'm doing better.
Yeah, well, I'm glad to hear you're because I did actually have a short chat with you a little while ago when you were in hospital, and you didn't sound too good, did you? But
no.
Anyway, hopefully you're recovering.
Better. I'm recovering. I'm doing well.
That's good. I'm glad to hear it. Now, I believe you're in Indiana, are you?
Yes, I was. Now I'm in Kansas.
Kansas. Okay.
To visit my sister, because she's got a bad back and getting ready to have surgery, and then I just had a stroke, and that kind of messed everything up. So, But I'm here. I'm still living. I'm still kicking.
Well, I'm glad to hear it, and I hope you'll carry on kicking and stay with us for quite a few more years.
Yes.
Good luck.
As long as whenever. But yeah, I've had some wild experiences that happened to me as a young boy. And I always thought they was dreams forever. I mean, I remember that I used to share a bedroom with my brother Mike, and we had a set of bunk beds, and I fell off, and I didn't get back on top because I was scared to get back on top again, after falling, being a young kid. So I started sleeping in my mom's bedroom right next door to my brother's bedroom. But there was a little bed right there I slept in that had plastic on it that I was like a foot too big for. And I remember going to bed one night, and it was like a dream. But I remember coming out of like water, looking up at a bright blue light, like a sky. That's what it reminded me of then, because this is mid 70s. I'm 5 years old. And what's crazy is the next part of the dream, I'm going down into this like ship, like the Love Boat. I'm thinking at 5 years old in the mid 70s, I'm thinking the Love Boat. And the crew had blonde hair, and there was a captain dressed in white. But I'm being taken to the right of the ship there in a dark area. And I'm showing my future life, like my whole future life in front of me. It's crazy, like on a little flat screen monitor. We don't have flat screens in the mid 70s. We're lucky to get channel 3, 4, and 11, But my next memory is being in a room and coming out. There was a bright white light. Then I remember it was like dimmed and the lighting was in the walls. And what's crazy is Calvin Parker and Amy Rylance has reported the same thing, you know, and just stuff researching my own experiences. But, the next part is coming out of that room and making a left and go back to the front of the ship. And the captain's right there in front of us. And it seems like there's people beside me. I don't know. I can't really see. But the next part of the dream, I wake up and I'm floating at the head of my mom's bed with my back to the window, staring at the panel wall across the room from me. And it felt like there was no time, like no time at all. I don't know. Or it was slowed way down, manipulated or something. But I could see everything because I'm seeing everything from the bathroom light that is on the room to my right. And it's reflecting off the wall. So I can see the bookcase. I can see mom's dresser, her makeup kit. I can see her bed. And I can see the entrance to my brother's room. I can't really see me right there. I don't know. But I'm sitting there staring at that panel wall for what felt like for years. For what year felt like years, Dave. I mean, I can't explain it no more like that. It's just like a timeless realm of some sort. I don't know. But I watched my brother walk from his bedroom and go into the bathroom and go into the hallway to the bathroom because I can't see the door of the light, but the light goes out. So that tells me he went to the bathroom and closed the door. Well, I could continue to float there for what felt like years. That's how I know the time, because I floated in the dark forever, what felt like 6 months. And the light was back, and I watched my brother go back towards his bedroom, dressed in his brown two-piece flannel pajamas. Yeah, but that's what's crazy. And I'm floating there for what felt like forever. I keep staring at the wall. I mean, I have no control. I'm like totally paralyzed. I can move my eyes. But I'm floating in a standing position. The next thing I know, I'm being pulled down. I'm floating on my left side, and I can see the hallway going into the kitchen now, and the bathroom light shining across the hall on the linen closet and along that panel wall. The next thing I know, I'm being turned on my stomach, and I'm getting close to where I'm sleeping, and my vision goes into the hallway, into the living room, and that's when I see this little gray, what I thought in 1975 was a small gray vampire, you know, because I did not know what aliens was, you know, or nothing about aliens. But I could see this, what I could see was his shoulder going down in the lighting. It was real skinny, frail-looking arms, I mean, but I could see from his shoulder down just a little ways. And I could see it was bent down. I could see the first thing I noticed was the brow. The eyebrows or eye sockets were protruded off its head and big and bald-headed and short, 3.5 foot, I'm guessing, you know, but perfect in that lighting. You know, I'm an artist, you know, and I know detail, you know. That's what's crazy is then I got scared because when I realized what I was seeing and I looked up, and that's when I seen the big black slanted eyes that went to its temples. Dave, I'm telling you, it's real as rain. But anyhow, that's the last thing I remember. And I woke up and I just thought it was a dream, the most vividest dream in the world. You know, until my dad's, the same thing happened to me at my dad's. And he lived in Scottsburg, which is about 30 miles away from where I lived with my mom there. And I went there and spent the weekend. And I remember we was all in the living room watching TV, and I had a Pringles can that I was eating some chips and playing with my Hot Wheels, and I woke up and I felt this thing come from the closed front end porch from behind my head because I slept on the couch. Dad and Kathy done went to bed, and it was dark. You know, the TV was off and the light was shining through the kitchen window because Dad had a pole light. But I mean, it put a hazy dimmer light, you know, kind of through the living room and a little bit into the kitchen. But I felt this thing come from behind my head, and I could not move. I could not turn. I could not do nothing. But the next thing I remember, I'm floating across the living room, and I'm staring at the green phone that was on the wall there that I used to look up at, but I'm head high with it now, you know. And I'm by the back door going into the garage. But the next, it was like the first time. There was no time. Like time was slowed way down. But I floated through the kitchen, and everything was perfect with the pole light outside shining through the kitchen window. I mean, everything perfect from the kitchen table settings to the magnets on the refrigerator to the strainer. Then I floated back into the living room. And I can see the Pringles can in the shadow of the lighting and the Hot Wheels. And I got really scared because my vision went to the close front end of the darkness behind me, and I felt it. I did not see it, but I felt the same thing there. But it wasn't, you know, I can't just, you know, because that was like a dream. I woke up but it wasn't until 30 years later Dave, that I watched an alien abduction documentary and something. I had that Dr. Lear, I think, doing implants and shit and just different shit. And it kind of hit me. And I went and told my mom, laughing, mom, because she was living at that time. And this was 2005. And I'm saying, Mom, I think I was abducted, laughing out loud, or I had an out-of-body experience or something, because I'm fun-loving, and it just didn't really hit me then, Then I was told about both my accounts at her house and at Dad's, and she looked at me with that deer in the headlight look and said, well, it's crazy because one night she had a dream she's floating up in the linen closet. And up in, because the linen closet had a ceiling that went up in higher than, but that's less than 15 feet from where I floated, where I seen that being. And that's got me researching it. And what's crazy is the research I've done. It tells me that I'm an alien abductee. And my mom was too, because, I did the math. She died in 2007. There's 44,000 nights in between us. What's the odds of two people float? I've only floated twice in my life, and that was both times being abducted, Yeah. And what's the odds of somebody else floating less than 15 feet away? I did if you could do the math, whatever the percentage would be, of two incidents happening like that, less than 15 feet apart, where I see a gray being, with big black slanted eyes.
It's certainly a very detailed.
It looked like it was smiling because of the cheekbones, and that's what's crazy. I'm an artist. And that's how I know my perspective and I draw, I paint, I see the shadows and shades and, it was perfect. I couldn't imagine it at 5 years old,
No, yeah. I
research though, abductees, through Bud Hopkins and John Max, what I've read, in their research. I mean, other abductees report floating to the window and through it with these gray beings,
Yeah.
What's crazy is there was humans. It was like humans on the ship, what I seen, and they had blonde hair, which I don't know about, the different species of aliens or nothing. I just know what happened to me. I ain't really, got into it that much. I need to get into it more. But I've had dreams that happen. I've had two dreams that happen less than 500 miles apart. I mean, in a state that I've never been in, and that's odd. Just the odd stuff. But I've seen what it's crazy is I've seen 6 or 7 Amish guys on rollerblades here a couple years ago at Delaney Park, and that's just something you don't see every day. It looked like 6 or 7 Abe Lincolns on rollerblades, and I didn't know what to do. Thank God my buddy seen it too, because I'm like, what? But you know what you see. I've seen a UFO in '95, me and a buddy, and he testified too. This thing moved left and right on a dime. I mean, nothing can move like that gracefully except them Amish guys on them rollerblades. The way they'd move left and right, I couldn't tell what was going on. But yeah, that UFO, we seen it, didn't have no sound, and it was huge, 8-sided. I mean, this was the spring of '95, April 17th, I believe, 18th right there.
Do you know what color was it? Did it have colors?
It was dark. It was nighttime, but it was dark. You could see the shadows underneath.
It was like a dark shadow. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, the craters of metal, how deep cut the metal was. It was like valleys of shades and craters of deep cut shadows. I don't know, the size of a football field.
But it didn't have any, no lights on it or anything.
Yeah, it had a big white windshield and it had a green and an orange light on the backhand pilot side.
Right.
And it was 8-sided. Yeah, I've never seen nothing like it. But, I'm talking to an alien abductee, though, that says he was abducted, too. But the research I did, I mean, it tells me the floating part, and seeing the same being, it can't be just sleep paralysis, because we all see the same being, experience the same thing. I was showing my future life. It could have been in future catastrophes. I don't know. I'm 5 years old. I took it as my whole life being shown in front of me. I've not had hypnotic regression done. These are my clear memories, Dave.
Well, I can tell that because of the way you're actually, it's so fluent the way it's coming out. You're not sort of trying to sit there and think and make something up. The way it's coming out, it's just it's a true experience.
I love you. Yeah. I love you. I love my brothers in Britain. Yes, in England. I love you guys.
Well, thank you.
Yes, it's about love. That's what it's about, guys. It's all about love.
Obviously, we are related back in history anyway, aren't we? So.
Yeah, but I don't think they're here to take over the world. I think they're about this earth. That's what they're about, or they would have done if they can come through my subconscious, Dave.
Yeah.
and get into my subconscious and take me out a window. That's more power than I know anybody has. And if they want to take over the world, they could have did it like me, just like that, you know.
Yeah.
So I don't think they're male violent or whatever you call that freaking word.
No. Well, I think, I mean, I've got a lot of thoughts that a lot of it's interdimensional. This is why I call this program.
See, you're right. You're totally right, because that's what it was like, Dave. And I will be because anything to manipulate the time and come in as a different dimension. That's my hypothesis. You're totally right, David.
Well, I don't know if I am. That's the reason I called this program that.
You're totally right, though. You're right. Even their crafts are dimensional craft. I'm telling you, I know this. Yes, I just do.
Well, I mean, they may well be able to travel interplanetary as well, but
that's our soul you're talking about, David.
Yeah,
that's our soul. That's our inside. They didn't take my whole. I got scoop marks, yeah, but they didn't take my body. They took my soul out that window. Because unless they can figure out a way to, get my molecules to that piece of glass, and they're doing good. But I'd say it's your inside. It's your soul. Because you know what's crazy is both times I did not see my arms or legs. I could look down, but I didn't see arms or legs. I see Mom's jewelry box, her dresser. I seen, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That's things you got to research, and shit. Like the dreams I've had, yeah, it could be just odd, but like there's a train track a mile away from my house that I crossed and used to have repetitive dreams about crossing this railroad tracks, and my legs would get heavy because I looked both ways and there wouldn't be a train coming. Then as soon as I stepped on that damn track, a train would start coming in the distance. You'd see it, and I tried to hurry, to get across the tracks before the train, but my legs would get like concrete and jello. And this dream was recurring, but I'd always wake up when the train hit me. But it wasn't. Maybe 25 years later, or I'd say 20 years later, the kid that used to be a real bully to me, like he blindfolded me and walk me through dog shit barefooted.
Oh, nice.
That's how, but at least I'm honest, you sucker punch. But what's crazy is him and his dad and brother-in-law come up on them tracks, went through floodwater, I guess, and he pulled up there, and the train said he didn't know he had plenty of time to get out of the car, but I guess what happened is the locks malfunctioned in the floodwater, and it died right there on top of the tracks, because it was like a steep hill, and you got up on top of the tracks. Well, the car died there, and he ended up dying there. I don't know if it has anything to do with it, but I've had dreams like that happen, more than once. If you want to hear about them, I don't know. It's up to you. So it's just odd, because my legs got so like concrete blocks, and I could not move. And jello, my legs would be like jello, and I'd end up be trying to crawl before that train would hit me, and I'd always wake up before it got to me. But he didn't. I don't know if that was odd.
It's an interesting story. So those earlier things that you were relating, they were when you were a child, yes?
Yes, at 5 years old.
So have you had anything sort of, apart from dreams, in your adult life, yeah?
Well, I mean, like the ghost stuff, yeah, kind of, maybe. I don't know, I had a buddy that died in a car accident, and his dad wouldn't go inside his funeral. And he left with this other lady, and me and this other guy and his girlfriend walked in, but I believe, because I closed that door. We was the last ones in, and I closed that door good, I thought, but I guess the wind pulled it open, but there was nobody there. I think Homer was out there with us, and his dad would go in and left, and he'd walk back in with us. He was with his dad. But as I don't know. I've never seen a ghost. I've never seen a Sasquatch, but what I have seen was a little gray vampire looking thing, with big black slanted eyes, went to his temple.
Yeah. Have you,
big sockets, big cheekbones, big sockets. Big sockets.
It is a similar sort of description to what I've heard before with some of those, yeah. Have you tried to speak to anyone?
I don't. I stay to myself. I paint a little bit and shit, and get out and find an arrowhead. I don't get out and I'm writing a book, so yeah, so.
Well, that needs to, yeah, I mean, that's the ideal way to get your story out, Don, isn't it? And then also do your circuits of, like any radio shows such as this.
Oh, yeah.
Well, maybe not just this one, but some bigger ones maybe.
Yeah, I did one other one, Night Dreams Talk Radio with Gary Anderson, which is, he's good old boy too.
Yeah.
And yes, and
this one goes out right across the US as well, so it'll be out on YouTube and on podcasts forever. So your story will get out there.
Yeah, slowly, but it don't matter, because I know. That's all that matters. I know.
Yeah.
Now, if you guys don't believe, it's up to you. I mean, my experience happened to me, and I don't know why. I'm from Valonia, Indiana, and it's a little bitty fan town. If you Winkle, whatever it is, Valonia, Indiana.
Yeah.
And you see, it's a population of 336. I think the last census was done.
Yeah.
That's where I was born and raised, pretty much. So, too many people seen, come out of the water with big black leeches on them or a snap turtle stuck to their finger, but I have, I've experienced life. I love it.
Yeah. I mean, that's an important thing with your story. You haven't gone out there trying to make a big name for yourself. You kept that story to yourself, but I get the feeling you now want to get it out before, while you're still around.
Yeah, I ain't trying to be popular. But I want the right people to get my story. You know what I'm saying? The right people. I don't care about the other people. I want the right people to get my story.
Yeah.
People just come research it and know that there's something going on. Yeah. And I believe, yes, our governments, all the governments know something, together. I bet you the whole United Kingdom or Union or what their nation, they all know about these UFOs. They're not dumb. If I know a redneck country boy in Valonia, Indiana who's been abducted and know about this shit, they know about it. They got to.
Yeah.
I mean, I Nick Pope and all them guys, man. And if it wasn't for you guys, I mean, we wouldn't have this out in the open where we could, say, hey, what's going on?
Yeah. Well, this is what we're all trying to do. Get the stories out, and
David Young, you're so right when you say dimensional. David Young, you are totally right. I think we did it when we split the atom. I think we messed something up.
What? Yeah, it's a possibility. Yeah.
I think that we ruptured something in another dimension, and they took note of it.
Yeah.
Because you look at the history, and you'll see that's when we started seeing them.
That's something I hadn't thought of. Actually, you're right. Really? Although we've got a lot of history of UFOs all the way back through history,
yes, I know.
ancient times, but
you got to look at the when you start seeing more of them and more.
Yeah.
When you start getting more cases of, not just the Bible, but I mean now you got them around the world.
Oh yeah, I mean they're seen all over the world all the time.
That's it.
So
we messed something up in another dimension, and now they're here and they're looking at us, thinking, what are we doing?
So when you found yourself on that ship, did you actually feel yourself traveling, or did it seem?
Well, what's crazy is it was like when I got in there, it was like lit up real good. And then when I left, it was like dim looking, like I don't know, it was like. Not.
I mean, did you feel any emotion or anything in it?
No. I didn't have no smell, no taste, nothing like that. It seemed like that was totally gone from my perceptions, the smell, but my vision was keen.
Yeah. I mean, you couldn't see anything out of any windows or anything about.
No, I did notice just like windows, and I do think it was dark out. But when I got there, it was like light.
Yeah,
I don't know.
And there was no sounds or anything. Now, did anyone try to speak to you? Were they speaking in any?
Not by mouth. It'd be by telepathically if they did.
That's what I was going to get at. Do you think they were talking to you telepathically?
Yeah, it would have been telepathically if they was. And if, orders I took in the subconscious, I did it because they telepathically told me to. Because I was a problem child, so they had to keep me under wrap.
So how long were you on that ship again for, do you think? Or was it just...
It was just, that part was like a dream. It was like a dream part. It was like coming in I don't know, subconscious, like the outer rim of my subconscious. It's wild because it's like, that part was like a dream, but the part that was real was coming up out of the window right there from Mom's room and being floated back to my bed. Everything was just perfectly. It was like it's coming out of the best way I can describe it, Dave. It's coming out of anesthesia. like a strung out anesthesia kind of, just like in a daze, like a daze. At 5 years old, like dazed.
Yeah.
You know, like kind of there. I don't know.
But it stayed with you all that time anyway. Obviously,
but that same being, yes, I know. And, you know, I did not know that anything was out of place until 30 years later, excuse me. But 30 years later, then I watched the documentary, and Mom, you know, when she said that's crazy because she floated up in the linen closet, I did the math. It's odd, you know.
Yeah, with your mum having the same sort of story. Yeah, it's weird.
Yes, yeah, I know. That's why I looked into it. That's why I found Bud Hopkins and John Mack.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. It's a shame you couldn't have got to speak to Bud Hopkins, actually, isn't it? You know.
Yes, he is. I'd love to have been able to talk to him because I never did get to talk to him. God bless his soul.
Yeah.
You know, but if it wasn't for him, you know, researching and getting, you know, some other people saying, hey, look at this shit. There's something going on. That Jacques Vallée or whatever. I mean, hey, look. Something's going on here. You know, I don't know if it's government. I don't know, you know.
Yeah.
I know, because I look at because my dad was in the military. My uncles were in the military. I wasn't. But my grandpa and all them, you know, and I don't know if it followed them or something they did, you know. Breaking on me.
So how come you avoided the military?
Oh, because I was a worker. I went and got a job and said, heck with it. You know, I should have paid my college. I wasn't thinking back then. I was all barley and hops and bone resin stuck in my head at that time, you know. But, well, shit happens. But, you know, I'm not a big war kind of guy either, you know. I mean, I can shoot a deer and skin a buck and run a trial I know and survive, but I ain't out there about trying to kill somebody.
No, well, you're lucky you've avoided it all, really.
Amen. You know, that's it. Amen.
Yeah. That's, well,
because I ain't into the politics, ain't into the religion, you know, I'm not. I'm positive. I love God and I love life. I love living. I love the smell of honeysuckle. I love to experience life.
You're like nature,
Yes, and that's it. I'm an artist. I love art. Music, yes.
Yeah, what kind of, do your esoteric, like your thoughts about aliens, does that sort of branch into your art? Do you find your drawing or painting?
No, you know, because it's crazy. No, I don't try to. I've lost so many relationships because of telling them I was abducted by aliens, let alone, you know, put it in my artwork, you know. Because they say I'm obsessed with it already. No, it's not that I'm obsessed. I'm obsessed that other people has experienced something, and I'm experienced it because I've experienced it. That's why I'm obsessed with it. You know, it's not. But I love arrowhead hunting too. Don't get me wrong. You know, I love to fish. I love to camp.
It's just that normally when someone's an artist, that everything that's sort of within them, it sort of comes out onto the canvas or the paper, doesn't it? Maybe you're consciously suppressing it.
Maybe, but I like landscapes. I like the way the light falls on the trees. That's how I know what I seen was real because I'm an artist.
Yeah.
I'm an artist and I know perspective and proportion and all that. And I mean,
I was interested.
I'm not a big famous artist, but I like to paint and dabble, at least trying, you know.
Yeah, I was particularly interested in your description of the large ship, the dark shape in the sky. The reason I asked about the reason I asked about the colour because a lot of the time they're orange or something like that.
Gray. It was dark gray. It was dark gray. It was dark gray, black looking. There was a light in the sky, so it was the full moon maybe.
Yeah. Because
this light, it would go left and right on a dime. I mean, I never seen something like it, except that what I compare it to is a figure skater, like coming around the ice, how they swoop over and swoop over to the left and right. That's how it did. And it would drop down and then come up and kind of just swoop left and right. But it came over top of our heads. I'm pissing on the country road at 2 o'clock in the morning. And I made my buddy Ronnie get out and check it out, you know, and it came over top of our heads and I'm jumping up and down. I'm so excited saying, Ronnie, you can see this? He said, yeah, it looks like a giant stop sign. It's like, yeah. But it was stretched out a little bit more on the sides than a stop sign. With whatever, I don't know if there's anything. I don't research. I've never seen nothing like that up in the skies. You know, and the craters of deep cut metal, the valleys, the craters of it was so deep cut. This thing was the size of a football field, maybe 2. I don't know, maybe 3 or 4. It was huge. Like, to the perspective, I'm an artist. It was at least a 747 size. You know, it was huge, massive.
Yeah,
you know.
That sounds a bit like the one they saw over Phoenix, doesn't it? That was a massive, great craft.
That was triangle though. This had 8 sides. It had a red and an orange and a green light on the rear pilot side. Right there. It didn't have no sounds. That chunk of metal should have hit the ground. This thing just hovered. I've never seen nothing like it. That's why I know government. It's either government or UFO, you know.
Well, yeah, I mean,
either one is.
I mean, to be honest, I can't see it being a government thing, although I don't know.
We turned around to try to find it, Dave. We turned around to try to find it, and we couldn't. It was gone that fast. You know, it was down in the back road of southern Indiana in a valley, coming down this valley, and it was just low and huge, massive. And I'm glad I had somebody there with me, you know, because I was jumping up and down, tickled, saying, "Are you seeing this?" Yeah. And we talked about it last November. I just seen him this past November, and he said, "Remember the feeling?" And he said, like the hair stood up on your, like his arms, you know, like the energy, the electromagnetic energy or something. Maybe he was trying to say. I don't know. But it was wild.
Yeah, it's interesting. Anyway, I'll just if you've just joined us, anyone listening out there, I'm talking to a man named Don Mathis, who's relating his experiences. You're listening to the Paranormal UK Radio Network and the Paranormal Dimension Show. I'm David Young. Right, now, I don't know, Don, what sort of questions can I ask you?
You ask them, brother. I don't care. It's you guys. You ask any question you want, brother. I don't care.
Your experiences, did it actually make you interested in UFOs at all?
Yeah, afterwards, well, not UFOs, really. I was never a big Star Trek fan. I hated Star Trek. I love Star Wars when they come out. But Star Trek and science fiction, no. I liked UFOs before I found out I was an abductee, you know, kind of, but, you know.
Yeah. I mean,
after seeing the UFO, it made me more interested. In the spring of '95, when I seen that 8-sided ship, it made me more interested in UFOs than ever.
Sure, yeah. Now,
I still didn't register that I was abducted too as a kid. It didn't register, it didn't click until I seen that documentary and I told Mom, and then it clicked. I don't know if I was abducted in '95. My buddy Ron, he's a big boy. They had to fucking got a cherry picker to get him up.
Now, I'm just wondering, in any books and things that you've read, your descriptions that you've experienced yourself?
I see shit online. That's about it. I watch YouTube.
Yeah.
I mean, I've read shit online. There's books. No, I don't have a big library or nothing. No. I don't even have Stones of the Shannara or the J.R. Tolkien. I love J.R. Tolkien.
Yeah, but the thing is that you've found similar descriptions to what you saw. That's that's an important thing.
Yeah, that's it. That's what got me going. I mean, when other abductees report the same thing, the blue light and being shown futuristic, because I thought it was my future life. That's what I thought I was showed.
Well, that's an interesting thing. Yeah, I mean, that thing when you die.
It's because I was going to write a book called Coincidences, but it's really synchronism, or, you know, it's when everything starts adding up, and you see the same pattern and the patterns.
Yeah.
That's going on, you know.
Well, that certainly sounded like an out-of-body type experience that you...
it's what it feels like, but with the little gray being there and the crew up on the ship and stuff, I don't know, you know. Now, the second time I didn't see nothing, I remember just floating through the living room and the kitchen, you know, but it was the same presence, you know, I just don't remember. That's it.
Yeah.
That's why I'm not here thinking they'd take over the earth, because if they wanted to, they did it in the 70s, because if they got that much mind control over me to help me, make me float through the living room and through the kitchen, I mean, that's some technology. That's how. I don't know how. I don't, but they can.
Have you ever related this story to friends or is it?
Yeah.
Yeah, you have. And how did they take it? How did they take it? Did they?
Well, some of them now, see, some of them, you know which ones that believe you. They'll let you finish your story and let you talk. But the other ones will cut you off. You know, they ain't interested. And you'll see their eyes the way they shrug their shoulders and smirk and their little silent giggles. Yeah, I've seen it all. But you get the ones that know who you are and know you and believe every word you say.
Yeah, well, that's what I was going to say. See, someone that actually knows you for who you are.
My buddy Eric. Yeah, my buddy Eric. It's like I was telling him, and it's like I go, Eric, how do you know I'm telling the truth? He goes, Don, look at your arms. Yeah, and I had goosebumps and every hair was hanging off my arm. Yeah, but that don't mean nothing, you know. No, but it does, because, you know, I know what I experienced. I don't care what they say. I take polygraph tests. That's it. That's what I'm putting in my book. Yeah. That, and yes, I like to get hypnotic regression done. I don't know what's all in my subconscious. It's hard telling. They might not want to go there.
I wonder how do you look at humanity? A lot of them remain so divided regarding the subject of UFOs.
You know, I love people. I love dogs even more. I love my pets more than I do a lot of people because people are just heartless and stupid, and I don't like it. No. I love people. I mean, I know they can be more, even if they have to have an intervention or something, you know. I mean, there is hope, but we have to do a 360. You know, we can't be over fucking with Iran and shit like that. No, I'd say if we get into it, I'm telling you, yeah, you want to hear an alien abductee proverb? If you mess with Iran, that will be Armageddon. Yeah, it will be the start of it. It will. Do
you think we're
just take that as my word?
Do you think we're heading that way?
Well, I've had 2 repetitive dreams in 2015, and it was like a parade, and they had like semis that had hydraulics that lifted up, had big missiles on them and shit. And it was like a parade, except they weren't throwing out candy and shit and waving. No, they was marching. Right. And I had 2 dreams, and I don't know, they did some kind of big march, the United Nations around fucking Russia here. Back in 2015, so I didn't know if it was that or something coming up, you know, my guess. Right. So it was,
so like a precognition type of thing. You think you may have seen the future?
Yeah, well, yeah, like going to war. Yeah. I ain't about that. I don't like that. I don't, Dave. I don't. Because if we do, I'm telling you, it'll be the start of World War III, and it'll be Armageddon.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of people thought that when we.
You know what's crazy though? In 2012, it could have been tenuitis or whatever, but I had a freaking trumpet blowing in my ear. It sounded like a marching band for 2 weeks. But you know, I don't know. That could have been my hearing. I need to go see a doctor, but hell, I'm in there enough. Need to be there for hearing too.
Oh, and a lot of people thought World War III was going to start with Iraq and Afghanistan, but
no, it's Iran. And I'll tell you what, you want to mess with somebody, don't mess with India, because I'm telling you, I'm thinking they're the tough guys. I don't know. I'm not into it. I'm not into politics. I'm not. Love, help thy neighbor, help the old folks. What I say, help the innocent, you know, about that. You know, I ain't about government. That's all. Campaigns, contribution, or campaign money and contributions and stuff, and I ain't into all that. Yeah. That's a big business, and I'm about the small town business. Yeah. Give your business to the guy in the small town that, you know, is struggling to keep his business going because of corporate people. You know, that's what I am.
Well, that's all we can do is hope that your visions are wrong about Iran and everything calms down. But I know it looks pretty bad. But
I know, and anything can happen, change, because if you can get the president of North Korea to walk down to South Korea, you know, that's pretty crazy stuff going on there too. Yeah, I know. I don't know. I'm not into that. But what I am into is there's things out there that you cannot explain that happen. So that I mean, even the dreams that I've had, you know, like I was at the river, East Fork of the river. Me and Larry George was fishing. It could have been because I was just there, but we passed him. We passed him and his sister. It was Joe, this kid named Joe. He used to live across from me and my mom, and Nita, his sister. But they went to the river as we left the river. We met them about halfway to our apartment where we lived there, and it was hot. We didn't catch shit, so we went back home. But I went to Larry's, and I fell asleep on Larry's couch, but I had a dream that I was back at the river, and I fell in. But I missed a log jam, and there was another one coming up, and I missed it. A log to grab, and I was being pulled out in the middle of the river, and I woke up, but it was like, I don't know, 15 minutes, 30 minutes after I woke up, I heard about this, that Joe went down there. We just passed walking to the river, went down there and drowned. I don't know if that's coincidence, you know, it could be a coincidence, because I was just at the river fishing, you know. Yeah. It's odd that I was in it, you know, trying to grab, but I've seen other dreams as something crazy. Your subconscious is doorway to something more. Yeah, I believe.
Well, it could be that you have got a mind that does that. Yeah, maybe you have got a consciousness that does that. I mean, nobody can take that away from you. So, what, are you interested in ghosts and things and the normal, paranormal? You don't do any.
I've not seen one. No. I've had some weird experiences, but no.
No, apart from that's what I'm saying. It's apart from your weird out of body experiences, you haven't had any sort of actual ghost experiences at all.
Well, I'm not seeing them now.
Because I have a theory that a lot of those interdimensional and alien things are sometimes connected, you know, and you know, sometimes when you might be seeing an alien, you think you're seeing an alien, you might be seeing a ghost, or sometimes when you're seeing a ghost, you may well be seeing an alien, and that's where they kind of cross over interdimensionally, you know. Yeah,
they don't have really a figure.
No, that's right.
I see what you're saying. Yeah. Well, there could be. I mean, there's no time in that dimension, that's for sure, and there ain't no gravity because I floated. You know, so I don't know.
Yeah, I mean that's another important factor in your story, isn't it? The fact that you can remember floating rather than.
Yes, both times. You noticed that too, Dave.
Yeah,
yes.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
I'll never forget them. Yeah. I'll never forget. Never.
I do try to take notice.
Unless I have a stroke, I guess.
So,
but yeah,
I'm doing good. How do you see yourself in it? You want to get this story out, so because you consider it important.
Yeah, the world should know, shouldn't they? It's important to me because I want people to know that what I experienced that other people has, you know, and it's just not me. It's not me. There's something going on. That's what I want them to know, that there is something going on. Yeah. Now, what it is, dimensional beings from other planets, I don't know. I say dimensional. That's my hypothesis. We fucked up something when we dropped that atom bomb, man, and it disturbed, and they're checking us out, thinking, what the heck's going on?
Yeah. Well, I mean, obviously, if there's the dimensional stuff going on, if we did, you know, drop in the atomic bomb,
atoms and stuff.
It is doing stuff to them, isn't it? Because they're in the same.
Yes. What's that place over there, Dave, in Sweden that they're creating dark matter? What's that place? What are they doing there? You know, it's crazy.
Yeah.
You mess with that God. You know, we're not God.
Yeah. The Hadron Collider.
Yeah.
So, well, you covered so many things.
Well, because, you know, I've researched my experiences, and I know that there's no particular, I don't even know if I'm saying it right. They can't get my molecules through that window. It had to have been my soul. I don't remember seeing my arms. I don't remember seeing my legs, but I could see down below me.
Yeah.
You know, that's what's wild.
It's a shame.
I remember.
It's a shame.
I remember my grandpa. My grandpa was drunk in 1975, and my uncles would take him to the pubs, the taverns, and he'd get so goddamn drunk that when he would get out of the car, he'd fall in the yard, and Mom would be yelling, "God dang it, Dad's in the yard," and shit. But the time, and they'd coach him to get up off the yard and get him into the house, and that's about the time he'd come toward my way with a lit cigarette, you know, and burn me, you know, while I'm watching Godzilla, you know, or whatever, you know, yes. But I remember those times. I remember, you know what Grandpa smelled like. He smelled like barley and hops and Pall Mall non-filtered with a splash of Old Spice, yes. I remember the details and stuff like that. That's crazy.
It's a shame.
And dreams.
We lost
dreams. I remember dreams I've had.
Yeah, it's a shame we lost Stanton Friedman a little while ago. I think he might have been interested in hearing your stories. But there are other people out there that, you know, in the States that you could actually try to get in touch with and relate your...
Yeah, I know. I'm just trying to heal and stuff, and I'm just, you know, public kind of person, and maybe one day I'll get more into her.
I mean, if you could speak.
But I talked to Kathleen Barton. I've talked to Tom Reed. I've talked to Deborah Cobble. Jordan Cobble or whatever. Sorry, Kev, I don't know exactly your name. But, and the lady that floated through the window up in New York, whatever, that lady, I talked to her. I've talked to a lot of them. I've talked to Calvin Parker. I talked to other, and what's crazy is Calvin Parker and Amy Rylance, I think she's from Australia. They report the same kind of lighting I seen in the ship. The way it was in the walls, it was like a fiber optic walls. Like, there you go, Dave. Yeah, I think so. I'm going with it because I know what you're saying. That's what I'm thinking. Yes, like a
kind of a light, yeah.
Yes. Yeah, but a yellow. It was in amber.
Right.
But, dim. And, it's just cool to hear other people report that same thing. It gives me closure to what happened to me and my experiences, and it tells me, what's crazy is Travis Walton, he seen humans on the ship when he was abducted. And that's what what I seen on the ship. These guys were this lady was dressed in blonde hair and navy blue. She even had a hat on, a blue hat, navy blue. And the captain was dressed in white. I don't know if that's the doctor they talk about, the people, but I don't know,
And also, you mentioned the captain. How did you know he was the captain, or did it just seem like it?
Because he was dressed in white. He was different from the blue.
Oh, I see.
Yeah,
right,
He was,
Right. Have you, I don't suppose you've spoken to Travis, have you? Travis Walton?
No, I've never spoken to Travis, but, I'd like to see one of them debunkers get up in his face, because Travis is a big old boy cutting wood, he debunkers.
Yeah. Oh, actually, he's a gentleman, Travis. I've spoken to him.
And I welcome all the bunkers. I do. I welcome them all. You explain that to me. Tell me emasculation, hallucination, no. And I didn't watch E.T. when it happened, no. I didn't know aliens. I thought aliens were robots from Mars. The thing that come closest to it was that black and white vampire movie. A short one of them versions,
Yeah.
Bald head, and big, just the eyes. He had big cheekbones, big eyes.
Yeah.
Big sockets. So he had the sockets protruded. His brow, his sockets protruded off his head in the glare of the lighting of the bathroom light reflecting off the wall back and into the closet, or not the closet, the hallway right there where you could see. Just perfect. I mean, that's the first thing I noticed. It was its forehead, its head.
Yeah. Oh.
And its brows, its eyebrows or sockets, whatever you want to call them right there. And then when it looked up, the black slanted eyes, it went like around its head almost, kind of. It was just, yeah.
Oh, yeah, we mentioned something about the government earlier on, or you did, or one of us did anyway. But do you actually think there's a secret government working in the background, covering everything up, and not, I
do. Well, there would have to be, Dave, because I'm a country boy at a population of 300 and something people, 336 people in a small town in Volney, Indiana. There probably wasn't that many then. I don't know. I know there's, because if I know, and I'm a little small town country boy, then there has to be way many more people that know than just me, and a few others know. Yeah. They know. Yeah. They know. Yeah. It's getting ready to come out soon, I think. I think the whole world's going to know, though, very soon. Sorry.
Yeah. I mean, obviously a couple of the ex-presidents have seen UFOs and admitted it, haven't they, themselves?
Oh yeah, my grandma. I remember my grandma seen one too back in the day, or hearing about it in the 70s, her and her boyfriend Perky. But yeah, Carter, I guess, yes. Yeah. Our county sheriff, when I was a kid, seen one. Joe Rourke, yes, seen UFO, reported UFO when I was a kid.
Didn't Reagan see one as well, I believe, didn't he?
I think so, yeah, or say maybe that, or something about a Space Force or something, yeah.
Yeah, because Reagan made that speech some years back, didn't he, about if we were invaded by aliens and everything, as if he was trying to open up the world to the possibility of it.
Well, because they got down to aircraft, and his buddies know. I don't think the governments are allowed to know. That's the secret societies, I think, that runs the government.
Yeah.
That probably,
Yeah, I think you're right there. There's a lot of secret societies.
Roth Brothers, Rothschild shit, and that Illuminati probably shit, whatever.
Yeah, that's a whole...
I don't know. It's some kind of secret organization that, can hack and has ties everywhere.
Yeah, I agree with you. It's kind of like an underground mafia that controls everything.
Yes, you're right.
Yeah, I do agree with you there. I mean, that's a whole nother ball game, isn't it? But
that is. That's a whole different.
Yeah. I mean, do you think disclosure will ever take place? That the governments will actually one day come out and say it? Or?
I don't know. It don't matter to me because I already know. But to the world,
well, I do too.
So we're getting closer than we ever have.
Yeah.
We're getting way closer than we ever have. At least we're coming out and saying there's shit out there. We don't know what the hell it is.
Yeah, it just seems lately.
It's another dimension. That's what it is. Yeah, that's what it is. It's another dimension. Yeah. And they can whip through our dimension and back out in 0 to 60 and less. Yeah. Yes.
Yeah, it just seems lately there's been more news reports coming on the to the main media about military jets and I think there was a Navy report also that's a ship or something.
My buddy Earl Gray, he posts a lot of good stuff. Yeah. God bless him. Yes. And that's what, it helps. I got people out there that really truly help me, talk to me.
Well,
there ain't a lot of help for an alien abductee, Yeah. Well, what do you do? Well, there ain't a lot of counseling, there ain't a lot of help for somebody that's seen and floated and their mom's floated less than that. And psychologically, that's kind of fucked me up a little bit, Dave. Sorry, I don't know if I'm beep, 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 beep.
Yeah.
We'll have to cut that out later. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. I'm sorry.
That's right.
It's messed me up. Because the other people and their sightings, the same thing. It just, wow. It's like, well, that wasn't Jesus Christ unless he's 3.5 foot tall, and lost his hair and got big black slanted eyes.
Yeah, I know.
And you know what? The last thing I remember that being doing it, that I thought, because I'm a kid at 5 years old, I thought it was opening up its mouth, but it was like glue, like its mouth was glued shut. But I'm thinking, I could think of what if it was going back to it's that dimension and sucking its way back out, and it just kind of, what kind of to me. That was the last vague remember. I was scared to death when I seen that thing.
Yeah,
and I woke up.
It's quite a vivid sight, isn't it?
I'll never forget it. I'll never, ever forget it. Ever.
It's very descriptive, and to me, quite hard to make something like that up because it's so weird that it's hard to make something like that up.
Well, I can't. No, I can tell you a story. But I don't. I'm not a storyteller. I just tell what happened to me.
Yeah, sure. That's right.
I'd rather go fishing. I don't have time for all that shit.
Yeah. Well, I know you were talking about Bud Hopkins earlier on. Have you tried speaking to Peter Robbins? Because he was a good friend of Bud Hopkins.
No, I sure haven't. I don't even know who he is.
Oh, right. Well, he was a good friend of Bud Hopkins in New York. And you might be wise to try and get in touch with him, or I might be able to put you in touch with him, because he did actually do some regression stuff along with Bud.
Yes, that would be cool. Yes, and you know more about the subject than I do, because I just know experiences. To
be honest, Don, we're all learning. Nobody's better than anyone else in this, in my opinion.
Nobody. Amen, Dave. I love you.
We're all just trying to learn ourselves. I learn something every time I do one of these shows.
I guarantee it. Yes. Yes.
And that's all I do these shows for me to learn, and to try and maybe sort of waken a few people up out there to get people such as yourself on and pass the message on,
Yes.
The more of us that there are, then hopefully the more gets out there.
At least, because the world's turned this blind eye to people like us. They don't want to hear that shit.
I don't know if you know, but I've got a Paranormal Dimensions page on Facebook that I try to keep everyone updated with the shows that go out, and I'll try and put as much as I can about you on there. I mean, if you could do me a little write up about yourself, I'll actually I'll actually put it on the page.
Love, Dave. I'll send love, Dave. I love you, brother.
Love you too, my friend. Thank you. I do appreciate that, and. I'll put as much out there about you as I can, and see if we can get some interest from some people such as Peter, because we'll like to hear your stories, and you might be able to get on some other shows and things over there as well. Maybe even you never know, maybe even a TV show. But,
you never know.
But I think your story should be heard. It sounds
it
sounds important to me.
It is. When it
blends in with lots of other people's tales, and stories.
Yes.
I mean, I'll just tell you, in 1966, I saw a UFO when I was coming home in England, obviously. And it was the reason I asked you about the colour of that ship earlier on is because the one I saw was like an orange oval object going across the sky, completely silent, but it was all different shades of orange. And I'm talking about 1966. This was. And it was pulsated across the sky. It was quite a large object, so I don't know what that was. But
see, what's crazy is there's an orange light on the rear of that pilot, the one I seen on the rear of it, but it could be something to do with it, red, and there was an orange and a green light on the back end of it, just two balls of light.
Oh, so
maybe it does turn orange,
Yeah. I mean, I've heard that's that.
Or green, maybe.
Yeah.
Even. Because there was two round lights on the back end of it that was green and orange. Orange was on the rear, and then the green one. But yeah,
I mean, the craft I saw, it looked like that was the whole colour of the craft. It wasn't sort of a part of another craft. It was the whole
metal
thing.
In the metal.
Like to me. That's what it looked like to me, anyway.
The atmosphere too. It could have been coming in that atmosphere and changing that. Because like you said, dimensions. Is there colors and dimensions? I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, I saw it. It was a really clear night. It was a dark sky.
Oh, yeah. Yes, you know what you seen though.
Oh yeah, I know what I see. Yeah. When I was
from right here, so you know what you see. I believe you, David.
Yeah. Well,
I know.
I'm like you. I'm kind of thing. Well, if you don't believe me, then I know what I saw. Then if you don't believe me, then I'm like you, kind of thing. You're not trying to make anything out of it,
Yeah, I got life to live. Yeah, that's it.
It's like I live life. When I was about 8 years old, I lived in London, and I was sitting on my steps one night, and I was watching a star move and stop and move and stop. Now I'm talking about 1958. And
wow, that's some years back.
Back then, I just thought it was a star moving and stopping and moving and stopping.
Well, you're older than Bird, ain't you?
But I've always thought, what the hell was that?
Yeah, I've seen that happen too, David.
Yeah.
But I never found it as anything. Me too. It was like 2007, but I've seen that like a star, like stop and just shoot off, just kill them that fast. I'm thinking, what was that?
You're looking up at,
Yes, and just start taking off. Yes, or shut out. I've seen them go out too, just like be right there and just shut off and just where'd that go?
Yeah, they just shoot off. That's right. Yeah, that's quite a common thing, isn't it?
Yes.
Yeah.
I guess. I don't know. I've seen stuff like that, but I fish at night time. I like to bass fish at night time, So I look at stars when I'm fishing, and I notice, I look at things.
Yeah. You want to watch out for that old Sasquatch as well when you're fishing.
Yeah.
Do you believe in that?
Well, you never know, I guess.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Did you hear any stories that
how many people, you tell them about, being abducted by aliens, so, but you hear about Sasquatches and all kinds of stuff, so, but, I've went in the water and come out with big black leeches all over me before.
Yeah.
Went after a turtle, and yes, I've brought home a 5-gallon bucket full of snakes as kids.
Oh, wow.
I know my mom she didn't like it.
I'm sure. I bet she didn't.
She looked at that. They was gardener snakes. They weren't poisonous or nothing, but still, it was,
But anyway, I mean, you'll have to get that book out, Don. Anyway, because I think you want to get working on that. And
well, that's it. Because the leeches and stuff. I want to talk about my grandpa that was drunk coming in, burning me with a cigarette. Yes, I want to tell him about my life too, along with if to be a duck, you got to know his life and his environment. And, yes. And the dreams that I've had was just, I've had a dream about an oil spill that happened and that tsunami.
Yeah.
And a helicopter plane had killed 9. A Marine helicopter hitting a Coast Guard plane outside of California.
Yeah.
I've had 2 dreams that happened in California less than 500 miles apart. And what's crazy, that Tic Tac video or whatever is recorded less than 53 miles from San Diego. So, you know, close to one of the dreams I had. And I don't know why I'm thinking, listen to me, I'm just speculating, but something's going on in California outside the coast right there out in the water.
Yeah, I've heard that.
Because I've never been to California. Why would I have dreams that happen less than 500 miles apart from each other, you know, in a state that I've never ever seen, you know, let alone been on a jet ski or held a seagull in my arm, you know. But see, it wasn't like the tsunami. I had a dream I was at a used car lot and buying a used car and a big earthquake hit, and I walked outside that used car lot and it was like a flood. Everything was washed, and I was walking through my chest and water and boards and dead bodies and debris. I get to this little white house, and this boy and girl is standing in water and got this baby up out of the water sitting on a table in between them. And I wake up, it's that tsunami hit, like, I don't know, 5-7 days later, killed 300,000 Thailand people.
Wow.
Yeah, I thought that's kind of weird, you know, anyhow.
Yeah, that does sound like a visionary thing, doesn't it?
Something, something different, you know. Maybe that's what they showed me and I just didn't realize it. That'd be bad though.
Yeah.
If I showed me shit that I could have prevented or something and I forgot about. Great, Don.
Well,
thanks.
Well, Don, I mean, that's been a very interesting stories that you've had. I mean, I can't quite fascinating. Unfortunately, we've got to draw a line under it there because our hour's up. And we'll be drifting into the next show if we're not careful. So, thank you very much for coming on, Don.
All right, well, thank you, David.
And thank you for everyone out there for listening. And you've been listening to Mr. Don Mathis, and hopefully we'll be hearing some more from him. And as I say, I hope you'll listen. And we've been listening to the Paranormal UK Radio Network and Paranormal Dimensions with David Young and Don Mathis. Bye, Don. Thanks again, my friend.
Thanks, guys.
Thank
Love you.
Cheers. Take care of yourself. Colonel Charles Holt is returning to Woodbridge on the 8th of September 2019. It's a Sunday. Tickets are £20 for an all-day UFO event with other great speakers. If you'd like tickets, please get in touch with me. This is my email address. It's davidyoung2qn@yahoo.co.uk. It's going to be a great event, and there's a few tickets left, but they are going quickly, so you need to act fast. Thank you.